All right, today we're going to dive into a pretty radical idea for making decisions, one that could totally change how we govern ourselves. It's called Futarchy. Just let that sink in for a second. Instead of casting a ballot based on a bunch of promises and just hoping for the best, what if you could actually put your money on the policy you truly believe will get the job done? That's the big question right at the heart of Futarchy. So here's how we're going to break this all down. We'll start with what Futarchy even is and how it's supposed to work. Then we'll get into the good stuff, the potential benefits versus the very real risks. We'll even look at where it's being tested right now. And finally, we'll ask, what does this all mean for the future?
Okay, let's start with the absolute basics. What in the world is Futurchy?
So Futarchy was first proposed by an economist named Robin Hanson. And it's this really fascinating mashup of two different worlds. It basically says, hey, let's use democracy for what it's great at, deciding on our shared values and what we want to achieve. But when it comes to figuring out the how, well, that's when we should turn to prediction markets.
And this is the huge shift, right? In our current system, we vote for a policy or a politician and we just cross our fingers and hope it works out. Futarchy completely flips that script. We, the people, vote on the outcome we want, like, say, lower traffic congestion. And then we let a market figure out which policy is most likely to get us there. It's a shift from relying on promises to relying on predictions.
To make this super simple, think of it like this. You and your friends all agree you want Italian for dinner. That's your democratic vote on the goal. But you don't vote on which restaurant to go to. No, instead, you pull out your phones and check the reviews. You look at the market data to find the one that's most likely to be amazing. That's the prediction market choosing the policy. Pretty clever, right?
Okay, so that's the big picture. But how would a system like this actually operate in the real world? Let's walk through the process step by step. It really just boils down to these 5 steps. First, everyone votes on a really clear, measurable goal. Then, people propose different policies to hit that goal. Step 3, a prediction market opens up, and people put real money down, betting on which policy they think will succeed. The policy that the market is most confident in, the one with the highest price, gets chosen and implemented. And finally, after a set time, we measure the results, and the people who bet correctly get paid. It actually rewards being right. So the crucial thing to understand here is that this isn't just an opinion poll. When people have actual skin in the game, when their own money is on the line, they have a huge incentive to do their homework, to really analyze the data, and to think critically. The market then takes all that scattered knowledge and combines it into a single price, harnessing the wisdom of the crowd in a really powerful way. So now that we get the mechanics, you can probably start to see why this idea is getting so much attention. Let's dig into the potential benefits that have people so excited. Okay, the first big one, accountability. You know how politicians can make grand promises, get elected, and then be long gone before anyone sees the consequences? Futarchy connects every single decision directly to a measurable result. It also pushes for decisions based on data, not just emotion. And it could help weed out those populist ideas that sound fantastic but just fall apart under real scrutiny. It's all about what will actually work. But of course, it's not that simple. Nothing ever is. Like any truly radical idea, Futarchy has some very serious potential downsides and really valid criticisms we need to talk about. The biggest worry, and it's a huge one, is accessibility. I mean, if you need money to bet, does this just become a playground for the rich? Could wealthy people just buy the policies they want? And then there's the measurement problem. How do you put a number on a goal like social justice or community happiness? Plus, let's be real, this is being tested in small groups, but we have absolutely no idea if this could scale to a whole country. And this quote from Hasu at Flashbots just nails the biggest fear. The worry is that Futarchy, even with the best intentions, could accidentally create a plutarchy, a system that's just run by the wealthy. It's the most powerful criticism out there, and it's something anyone exploring this idea has to take seriously. Now, all of this might sound super theoretical, like something out of a sci-fi novel, but Futarchy is actually moving from the drawing board to the real world, and its main testing ground right now is the world of blockchain. You see, these things called decentralized autonomous organizations, or DAOs, are kind of like online clubs run by code and member votes. There's no CEO calling all the shots. This structure makes them the perfect laboratory to experiment with new ways of governing, like Futarchy, because they absolutely need transparent and effective ways to make decisions as a group. And don't think these are just tiny, insignificant experiments.
One project called MetaDAO saw over 200 trades in its very first prediction market. And get this, that was in just 3 hours. That's a ton of engagement, and it shows people are actively participating in these systems today.
So here's what that actually looks like in practice. An idea gets proposed in a community space like Discord. Then, the community trades tokens that basically represent pass or fail for that idea in a prediction market. After 10 days, a trusted data feed, an oracle, locks in the market's decision. And then a smart contract automatically carries out the winning proposal. It's a real, living, breathing system.
So where does all this leave us? Is Futarchy just a cool niche experiment for crypto nerds, or could it actually point toward a totally different future for how we make decisions everywhere?
When you strip everything else away, this is the core promise of Futarchy. It's an attempt to build a system where the best ideas win, not because they're the most popular or because they're pushed by the most charismatic speaker, but because they are the most likely to actually deliver the results that we all agree we want. And that brings us to our final question. Is shifting our decision-making from ballots to bets the key to a smarter, more efficient future? Or is it a dangerous gamble that could just hand even more power to the wealthy? The experiments are just getting started. And honestly, for now, only time will tell.